Hurricane Dorian pummeled the Bahamas today, leading to several deaths and what was called catastrophic damage. Officials confirmed at least 5 people died in the Abaco Islands, and there are many reports of people in serious distress tonight. The Prime Minister of the Bahamas called the storm, quote, a historic tragedy. The damage was also on the minds of federal, state, and local leaders in the U.S. as preparations continued for possible landfall this week. John Yang reports from Florida.
Hurricane Dorian carved a slow, destructive path across the Bahamas today. It made landfall yesterday with winds exceeding 185 miles an hour, a Category 5 storm, the strongest on record to strike the island nation. Dorian weakened to Category 4 this morning, but continued lashing the Bahamas. The winds rocked trees. Torrential rains triggered massive flooding.
Some areas you cannot tell the difference as to the beginning of the street versus where the ocean begins.
The storm toppled power poles and damaged vehicles. The current forecast envisions Dorian moving dangerously close to the southeastern U.S. seaboard, offshore Florida's east coast tonight through Wednesday evening. It's expected to pass near the Carolinas, where states of emergency have been declared. Even a minor deviation could send Dorian onshore. But if it doesn't make landfall, it still has the potential to do major damage. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
Hurricane Dorian has shown what it's capable of. It's absolutely battered the Bahamas. Our East Coast certainly is within the cone still, and people need to remain vigilant. If you're ordered to evacuate, you need to do that.
At the Good Samaritan Society's retirement community in Kissimmee outside Orlando, a fleet of ambulances transported seniors to a sister facility on higher ground. The community was flooded after Hurricane Irma in 2017. Throughout Florida, past experiences are shaping residents' responses. Yvette Alsina of Winter Haven, south of Orlando, stocked up on sandbags and other emergency supplies.
You got everything ready here. You're all prepared.
I'm almost prepared. I think I'm prepared. And I got batteries, flashlights, a first kit. I've got food, water. Everything is set.
Alsina is among the tens of thousands of Puerto Ricans who moved to Florida after surviving 2017's Hurricane Maria.
How did you feel when you first heard about this hurricane and that it might be coming and hitting Florida?
I feel fear and anxiety.
Anxiety?
Yes, because it's really bad. I was in Puerto Rico when Maria passed, and thinking that is coming here right now is really bad.
She evacuated from Cayey, Puerto Rico, 10 days after Maria to get treatment for high blood pressure. Storm warnings this week have put her back on high alert.
3 days ago, I went to the doctor. He gave me a lot of medicines so I can be calm, through 2 of these days.
Other Puerto Ricans in the area are also feeling tense.
No soy la única.
I'm not the only one. I've received a lot of calls from Puerto Rican families who ended up here because of Maria. They're in critical states of anxiety.
Millie Santiago is another survivor of Hurricane Maria. She's helping 22 families staying at an Episcopal Church conference center outside Orlando where mental health counselors are on hand. Yemanja Krasnow is a University of Central Florida clinician and social worker.
A lot of the Puerto Ricans that came to Central Florida post-Maria, they had some very dramatic experience. It wasn't just the storm, there was loss of lives, there was loss of house, of pets, of properties, of businesses. So there was a compound of trauma going on, not just the experience of the hurricane itself.
In Jacksonville, restaurant owner Andy Zarka is preparing for the possibility his business might end up underwater as it did during Hurricane Irma.
They told us 2 years ago that Irma was a once-in-a-lifetime storm, that it's never happened like that, and it's never going to happen again. And now here we are 2 years later, and we're getting ready for what could be Irma 2.0.
On Jacksonville Beach, residents enjoyed a pleasant day while considering their next steps.
We are going to take our time and make a decision to leave, but especially having children, don't want to be foolhardy or make bad decisions.
Others took advantage of the high Atlantic waves Dorian churned up. but few expect the calm to last long. Here on Jacksonville Beach, the wind and the waves already picking up, even though the brunt of Hurricane Dorian won't be felt here for another 48 hours or so. Just a little bit ago, the Orlando airport announced it is suspending operations overnight tonight, which means that every major airport on the eastern side of Florida, from West Palm Beach to Daytona Beach, is now closed. And you know, Judy, even if Dorian doesn't make landfall, it doesn't mean there won't be any damage. The track it's forecast to take is very similar to Hurricane Matthew in 2016. That storm too stayed off the coast, never made landfall all the way to North Carolina. It caused about $3 billion of damage and claimed 12 lives. Judy?
And we remember that well. So, John, you were telling us you've been talking to a lot of people there in Florida about the decisions they're having to make about whether to go, whether to stay. Tell us a little about what they're saying.
Well, you know, this hurricane has been sort of on the news and in the headlines for about a week now. They started talking about it last Monday. The good news is that's given a lot of people a lot of time to plan. The bad news may be it's also given a lot of people time to worry, and anxiety levels are high. But I thought that with the perhaps with the storm taking so long to get here, with it slowing down over the Bahamas so much, that some people might become complacent. But the people I've talked to say that they know what storms can do. This is would be the 8th major hurricane to hit Florida since 2000. And a lot of people say that they know what storms can do, they respect their power, and they also point to Andrew, the storm in 1992 that did about $27 billion worth of damage, killed 65. They say since then, they take every storm seriously.
And John, they are now issuing evacuation orders in Georgia and in the Carolinas.
That's right. Up and down the coast, the low-lying coastal counties, actually all the counties along the coast have mandatory evacuation orders in place. And in South Carolina, they've begun what they call contraflow. All the interstates going into Charleston, all the traffic is outbound. From Charleston to Columbia outbound, and the other parts of the state, the interstates, all leading out of Charleston. You can't get into Charleston. They want people to leave.
You know, even with this hurricane still sitting over the Bahamas, so much havoc it is already creating up and down the East Coast. John Yang reporting for us tonight from Jacksonville Beach. Thank you, John.